So another important aspect of a new diagnosis is getting your baseline metrics, okay? Have numbers on file from as close to day one as possible so that after you've initiated all of these interventions, you'll have numbers to look back on to track your progress. These are 4 that I think are probably most important in terms of getting in totality as close to the things that are as specific to why you have diabetes to begin with. So C-Peptide, if you aren't familiar, is a measure of your body's natural production of insulin. If you were diagnosed with diabetes, chances your C-Peptide fell below a certain level. In the U.S. in Western medicine, it's below 0.8. I forget what the unit is. But if your C-peptide levels are low, that means your body is not making insulin or enough insulin. Getting that number over 0.8 and into the 1s and the 2s, that is a sign that your body is making enough insulin and that you could be considered in remission of diabetes. So next would be diabetic autoantibodies. And these are relatively new to me as well. When I was diagnosed back in 2001, they didn't have autoantibody tests. Okay, so I didn't know anything about this. And I had to go out of my way 20 years after being diagnosed to actually have these tests done. Because a lot of doctors consider once you have it, you've got it forever, so why test it? You know, we're changing that narrative. So I got my baseline for those autoantibodies to see where I was at. But it's very important that you have these. This gives a screenshot of what your body's immune system status is surrounding the cell types and the organ systems specific to diabetes, right? Are your beta cells working? Is your immune system acting against these systems and these cell types? It's really important, and it's a good way to preserve progress that you do make when you start to make these interventions. Next is the full Monty Blood Panel. Okay, so this is centered around measuring your body's ability to properly utilize iron. I have isolated iron as a major player in the nutrient imbalances that have caused the inflammation underlying all of our chronic diseases. So getting the full Monty Blood Panel is the best commercially available test for the widest range of factors going into iron metabolism, right? This is much more than your typical serum ferritin test that your doctor would give you if you didn't ask specifically for the full Monty. So that being said, your doctor may not even know what a full Monty Blood Panel is. You can order this on your own. You can order this for yourself if your doctor is not willing to comply with your requests. But it's going to give you a whole litany of different iron metrics, as well as the supporting cast of minerals that are going to help show you if you are able to use the iron in your body. Vitamin A, vitamin D, magnesium, copper. There are a few more, but those are the main ones. And then lastly, hair trace mineral analysis. So this involves taking just a few strands of your hair and sending them off to the lab. The way our metabolism works and hair follicles work is they accumulate. They're made of minerals, basically. And if your body has an overabundance or an underabundance of certain minerals, it gets deposited in your hair. So the HTMA is looking at your hair samples and measuring the content of specific toxins, heavy metals, regular electrolytes in your body. And so it's not perfect in that some people would argue that it's not always accurate. It's not, 100%. I like to have it on file again, just as a reference, so that when I do another HTMA, I have a basis of comparison to see what's changing. And then from what you are learning from these tests, what you are learning from what your body is telling you, it could be a change in energy, it could be change in sleep, change in digestion. You are using all of this new information to help make informed decisions. Do what you can with what you know now. If you find out in one of those tests that you have like a huge imbalance, right? Like I was super low in magnesium, I was super low in vitamin A and vitamin D. It made sense for me to start to supplement those things to address those imbalances, in addition to the changes in my food that I was making before. Read. You're going to have to do your own research. You're going to have to pull your own weight on this, because all of the systems and the infrastructure that we rely on for our health information, the more you read, the more you take in, the more you realize that they don't know a whole lot. Doctors, Western medicine in general, is so hyper-focused on symptom management and pharmaceuticals. They're not going to know a lot about nutrition. They're not going to know a lot about diet, herbs, vitamins, and minerals. That is on us to learn about and share our information. Okay. And then lastly, give each of the decisions that you make time to actually happen. You know, like it took your whole life for this disease to actually manifest, and it was happening for a long time. Your body did the best compensation job it could before it finally gave out. This is not something where, oh, I tested low in magnesium. Well, I'm going to take my magnesium pills for a week. If I don't feel better, I'll stop them. It's not that quick. It's not. This is going to require some patience and persistence on your part. All right. So, for example, this is how one of these went for me. So, found out through my first full Monty Blood Panel that I had elevated iron levels. I got to reading about iron recycling system and all of the supporting nutrients that I would need, copper, magnesium, all those A, D, E, K, the fat-soluble vitamins. I started to eat foods that had those, and I started to limit the amount of foods that had reduced iron added to it. I felt better. Right? So my energy levels increased, my insulin sensitivity improved, my digestion improved. I was so excited. I went and got everything retested, and I saw that my levels had improved, right? With each breakthrough, with each new kind of checkpoint in your health, there's going to be something else to address, right? So when I learned about my iron, I also learned about magnesium. I also learned about kidney health and liver health, and this went on its own separate tangent after that. But like I said, it's a game of persistence. Getting to a checkpoint is going to breed more levels to each of the things that you thought you were addressing to begin with. All right, and so avoiding any sort of like personalized recommendations. This is not at all medical advice in any way. These are the things that if I had been diagnosed today, I would go to immediately for their anti-inflammatory benefits as well as their kind of system rebalancing effects. So trace minerals, you can get them in a lot of different ways. I used Shilajit first, which is a mineral dense resin. I get it from a company called MitoLife, and I'll have links for all of these companies in the description. CMOS is another great source of trace minerals, and then there's a product called Pick Mins by Thorne, which is another company that I work alongside. So trace minerals are a crucial part of healing. And then more of a foundational basis, I mentioned, balancing your iron, rebalancing your immune system and your nervous system, magnesium. All three of the companies, Mitolife, Ancient Bliss, and Thorne, all have some form of magnesium. Bisglycinate tends to be the most popular, but magnesium is going to be a big part. Vitamin E. Vitamin E is an extremely powerful antioxidant. It's a fat-soluble vitamin. It is in food. It's in things like leafy greens and almonds. I have been supplementing it for a year and a half, again, just to kind of address the baseline imbalances that I've been dealing with. Great for liver health. And same goes for B vitamins. Those are kind of a little bit more mainstream. Quality matters. I always trust, I trust the companies I trust because of how diligent they are in sourcing their materials. So I supplement B vitamins daily. And I also have resources available. I'll have a link for this in the description as well. I've written Natural Solutions for Diabetes, the complete supplement and herbs guide, as well as the Diabetic Foodie, which is kind of like my shopping list for things that I'm looking for in the grocery store as it relates to foods, nutrients, quality that I'm looking for when I go shopping.